let you know we were in executive session discussing personnel issues. And if we could start the meeting off by rising to the pledge of allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd also want to let people know that we are being videotaped. And we will also do introductions. Lynn Lenhart, Kate Navarro,
Jody Monroe.
Tom Douglas.
Diane Stever,
Matt Downey.
Laura Bierman.
Charmaine Widgesinger.
And Judy Kehoe.
and Michael Cooper is not here tonight. We had a previous engagement that we had to attend to. I also, before we do the approval of minutes, I just wanted to really thank the community for coming out to vote yesterday, all day yesterday, that we did, pass our budget. Everything pretty much passed. And Michael and I, will be stuck with us for another 3 years. So. But thank you. Okay, so first thing, I didn't forget anything. Oh, participation in government students. I'm sure that we will be out by 9, but for some reason, if we go over, we'll take a break and you can come up and sign out. Okay, so first item, approval of minutes. Is there a motion? That's the first and second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. And student senate report, Jamie?
Hi, so Student Senate we were here yesterday all day. Actually, we were working with the Glenmont Book Fair. So that was great to be involved in the community, and it was really nice to see how many people turned out to support our school district. Student Senate also will be working at the blood drive in 2 weeks, so we're doing sign-ups for that now. We're hoping to get over 100 students and teachers to sign up, so we're spreading the word about that. Also, due to popular demand, Student Senate will be hosting another dodgeball tournament, one night tournament, May 31st on a Friday, so it's the weekend of ball. So we decided that it would be a fun event for everyone to show up on a Friday night, and we'll get all the games going. We have our refs and all of that set up, so another exciting event. And we're also planning for election, so petitions are due actually tomorrow, and we'll be choosing our new officers and senators for next year. So that's mainly what we've been up to. Any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Jamie?
They are using very soft balls the night before prom, right?
Very, very soft ball. Yeah, we don't want any
Photos the
bruising.
next day.
Is this your last board meeting? As president? No.
You'll
we'll be
introduce-
back, yeah.
to
Okay.
introduce the
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
board president, or student senate president.
yes,
Great.
and Megan will be there as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Next, we have our superintendent's report. Dr. Douglas?
Thank you. I'd like to also duplicate many of the comments. Yesterday was certainly a long day with a little downpour that all of a sudden came in from out of nowhere. But it was a day for the community to come out, which has always been, I believe, this administration and Board of Education's position, is that we recommend and the community ultimately decides the best direction for Bethlehem Central. And the community spoke yesterday and affirmed both of our budget propositions, but most importantly our budget, which I believe is the first one that I can say has no cuts in my superintendency of 4 years, and I believe also met the goals of the Board of Education here to try to do no further harm from the recession as possible, hoping that the next year will even bring brighter days. So I want to commend everyone from the students, the teachers, the administration, the parents, our community members, our community groups, and especially this Board of Education for coming through and preserving the excellence which is known for Bethlehem Central School District. It is truly incredible to be working with so many individuals that really care about the direction of this community as well as its future and its students for their future. So thank you very much. As we come to the closing of this school year, there's not many days left for the many individuals who are in participation in government and economics that I can see here, and we have 4 sheets up here for all of you tonight. But it also brings about a reminder that we have a lot of activities going on here in the district. I invite everyone to come out and enjoy them and enjoy the celebration of the successes of the students that are about to graduate, as well as those that are continuing on their education for next year. Of particular, we have our Senior Awards Night coming up on May 30th, and we have several end-of-the-year activities at our elementary schools, the field days, and I would invite the board, I'll get that up on the calendar, so that even if you have a couple spare minutes during the day, if you stop out, I know everybody does appreciate seeing everyone come out to share some of this fun with the students as well. So we'll try to coordinate that as best we can over the next 20 to 30 days as well. We have our graduation. Again, we need to remind everybody, graduation will be coming up. This will be the second year where we are not doing the transportation, so we are putting that out there to ask our parents to assist us as we made that decision last year. And we know it was very successful. Every senior was able to find their way, and they had a wonderful graduation, and we really appreciate their accountability and their ability to get there so far ahead of time that everything went off pretty much without a hitch. So we wish the class of 2013 well as we proceed through the end of this year, and remember, let's do it safely and efficiently as much as possible so that we're all able to celebrate with our friends, neighbors, and colleagues. So that's my report tonight, just because we've had so many. I know we have a wonderful presentation, and I imagine there's some questions that will be forthcoming. So thank you for this past month, for the entire board and the community.
Okay, thank you. Board of Education report? Lynn?
Okay, first thing, Diane, Matt, Mike, and I attended the last middle school character breakfast last week. Again, this celebrates students who perform acts of goodness, kindness, where nobody else is really looking, an idea of building character. And again, there were quite a few students who won, and it's always a pleasant experience to you know, to see what the kids have done. Secondly, I'll do this one first. At my Capital Region BOCES board meeting on Monday night, we honored students from the Career and Technical School, both the Schoharie campus and the Albany campus, for Skills USA, because there were several first, second, and third place winners, and 2 of the second place winners were from Bethlehem. One student, Tyler Collin, he was a computer and network technician student, and he does internet working. He's a senior this year, and anyhow, he came in second. Now, this was among 2,310 students competing in Syracuse, so I mean, these are really great accomplishments for these students. Another student, Amanda DeMarco, she's a nurse assistant student, and she won second place in the nurse assistant category. And I just think, I think, you know, the students do very well, and you know, I thought that was great.
Yep,
So
we are actually going to ask them to come to our June 5th.
really, okay,
Yes.
great, okay. And the third item was that was finally able to make Bethlehem Central Foundation board meeting last night, well, before the we reviewed the election results. And they have done an awful lot of good work this year in fundraising, and they have been able to, or will be able to, because they haven't announced the winners of the awards, but they're giving out more than $9,000 worth of innovation awards to teachers who applied for the awards. And I think they'll be notified in the near future. The foundation also awards scholarships, and those will be awarded next Thursday on May 30th. But on June 10th, which is a Monday night, both the scholarship recipients and the faculty that have won the awards will be honored here at the Media Center. That's Monday, June 10th from 6 to 7:30. So, and I think, you know, the public is invited to attend. And I just think it's great. They're doing such a great job. Is Mr. Klugman here? I guess he didn't stay.
He usually is.
I guess he didn't stay. But anyhow, the whole group has done a great job, and I just think it's great to be able to give out these innovation awards. So anyhow, that's my report.
that it?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Matt?
No, you can go.
I was in the building a couple times yesterday during the bond vote, no, excuse me, the budget vote, and I really enjoyed the Empty Bowls event that they had in the cafeteria. I believe it was the Students for Peace and Survival may have been running it, as well as some other student groups, where you get to purchase a handmade bowl by one of the students, and the money is donated to charities related to feeding folks. And also the art fair, and the book sale was great. So I really want to echo what Jamie said about the book sale, but also all the events that were going on. The music was playing in the auditorium. It was just a great community event. So the other thing is I'll be leaving on Memorial Day and returning June 1st to the area to attend the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity in Higher Ed. I'll be teaching 5 seminars there in New Orleans, so I won't be able to attend anything next week in the district, unfortunately. But one of the things I'll be doing is a day-long institute on writing and social justice, and I'll be doing that with the executive director of the National Writing Project. And I'd be really interested to work with her and maybe bring back some insights for Ms. Monroe and Mr. Baker, perhaps, just to think about. I mean, that's at the college and university level, but still, depending on how that program goes, it could be just something that's very interesting here, and is a branch of the National Writing Project at SUNY Albany. So I will miss you all, and I'll miss the events that I will be unable to attend, but that's where I will be.
Matt?
Yeah. Last Friday, I had the opportunity to attend a statewide roundtable discussion at NYSSBA with a representative from, excuse me, from the State Education Department. The commissioner was to attend, but unfortunately at the last minute wasn't able to be there. But the focus was on the Common Core standards and all the assessment tests. And one of the interesting points that was made during the discussion was the need for the technology to support the tests. And in the future, those assessment tests will be given online, and we'll need to make sure that we have the proper technology and equipment to be able to provide that. So if you have, say, 400 kids at a grade level, you would need to make sure you had 400 laptops available for the assessments going forward and whatnot. And so that was an interesting part. One of the, and I think we've discussed it here as a group, you know, the state recommends that 5% of your budget should be towards technology, and I know we're far from that, along with many other districts just don't have that kind of money, but that's where they're saying we should be. So.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. We have a presentation from Ashley McGraw. Dan, did you want to? For facilities bond?
Congratulations again on the budget vote yesterday. It was interesting. I just want to say it was interesting. You were talking about dodgeball, and then Lynn was talking about building character. And back when I was in high school, dodgeball was building character. I think the gym teachers made us do it because they wanted to punish us. But I'm glad to see you guys are having fun doing it.
It's much different from way back.
Is it much different? Since the movie came out, right? Tonight we have a fairly short presentation. This will be our first sort of project update. You'll see there's the format I put together is a simple one. The agenda can be as broad or specific as you need it to be, and we want to custom fit it to Bethlehem to make sure you're getting the information, you're asking the questions. So basically what you'll see in all of our presentations is the intro and our agenda, and how we tailor the rest of it will be up to our discussions and meetings and so forth. But tonight we'll talk about the major things. Right now, there's not a ton going on, but we do have significant things going on. Design process, just give you an update on where we are, then talk about the timeline and logistics, and then we'll touch on budget, and then we'll talk about next steps and questions. So that's pretty much the format for tonight, and probably for the next few updates. Greg's not here tonight, but we would like to do them monthly, and we'll make sure basically architect will lead these discussions through our submittal to SED. Once we start getting into bidding and construction, we'll have the construction manager kind of lead these, and I'll support them. So as I said, now we are a design team and a construction manager tonight. That's campus construction. And if our campus people could just stand up and introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ange Skaish. I'm one of the managing partners with campus, and I'm here as the project executive, and I'll be supporting Scott Bulrus, who's our senior project manager, and primarily at various board meetings, he will be presenting information for your review and answering any questions that you have.
So some of the things that we've been doing, and we'll talk about phases. This is, a project like this is multiple phases put together. It's a big, long process, and there's different parts to it. What we've been doing since the bond vote passed is what we call schematic design. Some of the things I've highlighted up here that we've been doing, some testing and monitoring. On a very unseasonably cold day, in April, we came out and surveyed a lot of the buildings. We had not, the opportunity to come during Easter break, so the staff and students were out of the buildings. We can get into spaces we normally couldn't. We went up on all the roofs, and we had a roofing contractor with us so that we could explore, do some test cuts into the roof and see what's actually there and confirm conditions. And we've been doing a lot of that. You may see some people with flags out on the street. We have a surveyor here in district, and they're doing a topographic survey of all the site conditions that we're touching. So those are kind of some of the things that are going on right now. Again, we've been doing a lot of field work. Our teams of architects, designers, interior designers, mechanical, electric, plumbing, and site and landscape engineers have all been out here multiple times with Greg and his team, looking at everything that we can. Part of that schematic design is really confirming that we can do the designs that we have agreed to do and have been voted on, and coming up with ideas on how to further that design and really get into the nitty-gritty and the details of it. So schematic design phase is roughly that. Getting everything we know together, making sure that that's what we agreed on, that that's part of the scope. If we see any items that are maybe associated with that, to identify them. We know that we had over 100 items that we looked at that were whittled down to 90 in the bond vote. So we're looking at all those things. And culminating into, did you guys bring the booklet? Do you have the? We put together a draft of the schematic design as we know it, and we had an OACM kickoff meeting. Now, if I get into any jargon or lingo, please let me know, because this is what we do. But OACM is Owner, Architect, Construction Manager, and we met to go over our schematic design draft booklet. And what we hope to do in the next week or so is to finish that up, and we're going to use that as our program design Bible, so to speak. That's what we're moving forward with. It includes all the bond items listed with their associated costs. It includes plans and other images and photographs that show all the work that's been identified, where it is, square footages, and what it is we're doing. So when that gets finalized, we'll provide a copy to the superintendent and an electronic copy so we can share as well. So we had a page turner where we had this book of over 110 pages, and basically that's what it is. We looked page by page, turned them, went through everything. We focused first on technology, because it's a huge part of this project. And then we went into site, which is another huge part, and then into a building by building sort of in-depth discussion and look at all the things we're doing. It's a great meeting. It lasted 5 hours, but it was great to have everyone all at the table, everyone represented, all the stakeholders, so that we had a firm fitting. And the construction manager just joined the team. It was great to bring them up to speed on everything we're doing. So we hope to have one of these OACM meetings every 2 weeks. Next one won't be 5 hours, but from that first meeting, we identified a lot of tasks. So we'll be going through the tasks, making sure people are doing what they need to do to get us to where we need to be. So here, you may not be able to see everything, but with campus construction on board now, we have our designers and construction managers with our client, the owner, Bethlehem, to work out all our roles and responsibilities and through each different phase as we move forward. And we've identified where district is involved, where Ashland McGraw Architects involved, campus, and even financing. And primes would be the contractors that we will eventually have during construction. What's nice is as Ange and Scott put this together, they number it, so a higher number is a higher or more importance, and a 1 is not as, is partial importance. I shouldn't say not as important. And X's have involvement. So we've started to do that here to identify all the different parts of each phase that we're looking at. And I'll just go through quickly. And here, as you can see, once we get into bidding and construction phase, you see the primes are involved in a lot of this stuff. You'll see a lot of 2s on the construction manager as well as us to make sure things are done right during construction. So this is sort of a tool that we've passed out. We're working between ourselves to identify, are these really what we don't want to have any gaps in responsibilities. We don't want to overlap too much and be inefficient, so we want to make sure everyone knows what their role and responsibility is as we move forward, and that's very important. So that's sort of the update on our design process, where we are. I thought we should look at the timeline and logistics. It's very important for us to work backwards from right in the center there, the SED submission date. That's very important, and we've established that in September so that we can ensure a January review and approval period so we can get out to bid in this project in February of 2014. We are pushing to get that because the review process, the review time at the State Ed Department is quite lengthy right now. And if it gets better, that would be great, and we could get out a lot sooner, but we're anticipating the worst, and that's around 4 months of review time once we get in the queue. But working from April, as I mentioned, we did a lot of on-site work, especially during the breaks, looking at everything we could, measuring. The biggest part of schematic design right now is that we're putting together CAD drawings, computer-aided drafting drawings, and actually, for almost all of the buildings, they're going to be represented in 3 dimensions as well. That's how we do our AutoCAD stuff. It's called Revit, and we build it in 3D. So we have every part of your building identified that's in this scope of work. But we really wanted to make sure that those are accurate drawings so that they can be used in the future for anything else. So right now, we've had our page-turner meeting, our 5-hour meeting, and we're working on design development. And one of the big things that we're pushing in design development is to come up with basically a binder of product detail. Instead of, we have outline spec, but we also want to make sure we have identified the products, catalog cuts of all the systems and devices and things that we're using in the project that we're proposing. That way everyone has a visual representation of what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, what a boiler will be, what a phone system will be. We'll have all that product data, and we're working with vendors now to really tighten up that information so we have the latest and greatest as we move forward. That's a big part of design development. Another is meetings. We have already had some meetings on security and food service with different people in the district, and we'll continue to have those until we iron out the details of where things will be and what devices and equipment will be used. What we plan on doing is in mid-June having that all wrapped up, and we'll hand that off to construction manager, and what they'll do is sort of a reconciliation of scope to budget so that we see where we are and see where we need to be. Part of our process right now also is looking at things that we call value engineering, where we may have assumed that we are going to do something, and once we really investigate what that is, we may not have to do as much as we thought or that exact same thing to get the same result. So we're looking at things that may be wasteful to do and maybe come up with a different way of doing it. And those things may save us cost. Again, on my budget list, I have all 167 items, and I've hidden the ones that we're not doing. So they're all available there to look at if we do have additional funds left over at the end of the project. September is our goal to get to State Ed. Hopefully they'll have us approved in January, and we'll move forward with bidding and procurement of contracts almost in a little less than a year from now. So that's our goal, and that's what we're looking at doing. So what's important about this is, well, you can't read this, I know. But what we do is we put it together into a very disciplined schedule, timeline format that we track. Internally as architects, I like to put in all the stuff that we're doing that we need to coordinate with consultants, that we need to coordinate with the district and any other outside vendors. And then I hand this over towards the end of design development to the construction managers who put together a critical path style schedule where one thing must happen to have the next thing happen and so on and so forth. So this is our work in progress. So really not much I haven't really, you can't really see it, I'm sorry.
Yeah, one of the things through our meeting today, they're going to be sending me some of the documents like this, and we'll be creating like an all-encompassing part on the portal so that individuals will have that, and as we get official documents, we'll post those to the web as well.
Yeah. So that is our timeline section. So then we wanted to revisit budget. We all understand that the voters have approved $20,185,299. And the way that is broken up, we wanted to see this. I don't think we have seen it since, well, months ago, actually. So I wanted to bring this back up. It's important because now the construction manager is involved. They'll be taking the hard costs, which is the work, the construction costs, the materials and the labor, looking at the inflation and escalation factor. That is a factor of we're looking at construction in 2014 and 2015. So we want to make sure that we have things covered there. Pre-construction contingency, we'd like to set aside, to do projects this big and complicated, you need to set aside some money. Some of it includes like having the roofer come out and do some test cores in the roof, or maybe some additional testing of some suspect items. If we think that there may be some hazardous materials, the testing for that is covered in the contingency. We want to know up front and ahead, so we're not surprised, although we may be, but we want to see everything that we can. And also project refinements. As we look at things, things might be better if we do this or do that, and kind of look at things as a whole. So there's some project refinements in there that we couldn't really anticipate during conceptual design. Then once we go out to bid, and bids are good, we still want to have a construction contingency, just in case there's any market fluctuations, like oil pricing or trucking strikes or things like that may happen. There may be changes, either requested or discovered conditions. There are changes that are, you have a no choice where you have to do because it's a hazardous material or something for safety. So we want to make sure that we have enough set aside to do that. But also, all of that above is there in case we want to build in some alternates to this project, some bid alternates. We have a safety valve to have some alternates that we may or may not do, or some that we want to add to the project. It all depends on how the bids come in, how the contractors bid it. If we have money left over, we want to also entertain and look at and consider anything else that is important and can enhance this project as well. So that's part of the construction contingency. And then we have incidental costs, and those cover things like fees, testing and monitoring is a big one, legal and insurance, and then reproduction is very simple. That's for the documents we need to send to SED and for the contractors to bid on. So those are, I wanted to just kind of capture those because we haven't really talked about them in a while. Just so everyone knows, this is all in the 20 million. We're not going over the 20 million. We're working from that down. And so this is all included. And this is typical of any project. You can ask other districts that are doing it. They do have soft costs or contingencies.
Can I ask a question on that slide? Mm-hmm. This testing in two places. One is pre-construction contingency and incidental costs. Can you just explain this?
Yes. Yeah, the testing and monitoring at the end, there are special inspections that need to take place. And so it's different from the testing. Right now we're doing investigative testing. That's testing for, there's a whole list that the state ed department has for special inspections. You look at welds, you look at how things are attached, and that is a third-party person that the district would hire to do that, as well as monitoring for the abatement of any hazardous materials. So yeah, it's the same word, but they're different, definitely different things.
Thank you.
And then, next steps. Now, we met earlier today, and I think Ange and Scott are going to come up and show you some of the things. I talked about lingo and jargon. I know that they have, they've tackled that in the past. I'm not sure how many of you, and Lynn probably, you were involved in the last construction project, but many of you, so any questions you have, feel free to ask us, because we want this to be open and transparent, and everyone to understand what it is we're doing and have questions. So we talk the talk because we do it every day, but we want to make sure you feel comfortable with everything that we're describing to you. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you again. First of all, I just want to express we're very pleased to be here and take part in this project. And many projects don't just happen, okay? In our particular case, we work at making them be successful, and that's based on our communication. Okay, the communication isn't normally just one way. It's getting your feedback and being able to do things the way you'd like them to be done. So you will find that, and hopefully, if at any given stage of the project you want something differently, all you got to do is ask, and that's what we're going to provide. What I've brought to you for you today, just to kind of look at very quickly, are some of the reports that we are going to be providing for you along the way. Right now, Scott's going to hand out probably something that's going to be very similar to what you will get with regard to this phase of the work, which is the construction estimates. Okay, as Dan has described, we're in design development stage. The documents are being prepared currently, and hopefully within the next couple of weeks we will have them available to us, where our estimating department will look at those documents. They will be able to discuss with the architect and reconcile a cost, okay? And also to confirm that certain information that maybe is right now still unclear is actually going to take place in a certain way. This is so that we can put a good dollar value against the item that's going to be included in the construction. So the first document that you will see will be design development. Then the next one, which this booklet represents the construction document, okay, that will be the next estimate that you will see, and that's the first book that's handed out. So that will bring us to the point of submission to SED, and it will make us be aware of the fact that we're on budget and where we need to be, so that when we get the documents back from SED, we can go out to bid and start our project. The second book that is handed out will be a booklet that you will be receiving. And by the way, we're very used to handing out hard copies, but often we're seeing more and more of districts asking for electronic versions. So all of these books will be available to you electronically if that's what you choose. But the next booklet references our monthly report during the construction phase of the project. It will have all information relating to schedule, construction, contractor updates, pictures, information relating to the budget, where we stand, what's been spent so far, all the contract information. Often we will also include information relating to the minutes that are gathered from our project meetings. So that's what you'll see, and of course you can keep these two books. You can review them independently whenever you want, and then I can get them from Tom at another time. And then, Tom, you've received, we spoke, you got it.
I'm looking at it.
I'm going to hand out a book right here, which often I talk about communication, but what this is a book that we've prepared and we provide to districts, whether it be administrators or board members, so that they can get up to speed on what our process is all about. And so you will have this electronically, and it will describe everything related to all of the various paperwork that we monitor and go through. And it just helps you to better understand so that if you're asked in the community something about something, you'll be able to at least be slightly educated with regard to our business on, you know, what it's all about. And of course, if there's anything ever in question, you'll be able to ask us. And that's what we want too. You know, we want that dialogue back and forth. So that's about it. And again, Scott, you know, Scott's going to be here throughout the whole duration. I'm going to be supporting him. But Scott and his team will be the ones that actually present the information, and you'll have that dialogue with Scott. I'll be, you know, attending the various OACM meetings as Dan has described. And again, you know, working with Ashley McGraw has been a pleasure on past projects, and I'm certain with Dan and his cooperation, we're going to just have a very successful and great project, and we all look forward to it. So, thank you.
Great. Thanks. Does anybody have any questions?
Just any surprises so far with your testing? The pre-stage, like with testing the roofs? I mean, I hope we're not going to find.
Say the middle.
Well,
I'm hoping we don't find very much asbestos, because it seems like we spent a lot of money getting rid of
it
asbestos.
seems like hazardous materials have been identified very well. And where we don't know where they are, we have a good idea that they may be hidden here or there. So that's good. Our roof cuts, the testing that we did, I don't think we found anything unusual or surprising here at this building. One of the things that we did go through at the middle school for roofing is, and this was one of these value engineering ideas that we were talking about, looking at what's best, what is best for the district, what's best for the environment too, is we had proposed, due to the warranty coming up on that roof, to replace the roof. We had looked at different various options of recovery of the roof and different systems to use. But as we brought the roofer out and we did the test cuts and we really examined it, and it wasn't winter, and we could be up there and see what's going on and learn that the area we're looking at never really had any leaking issues. We were going to have a manufacturer come out, the manufacturer that did that roofing, to come and look and see if we can do an alternative to extend the warranty 10 to 15 years longer that doesn't involve tearing up the whole roof. That's a huge cost. It would be nice not to waste a lot of time and energy and resources tearing out something that you don't need to. So those are some of the things that we are looking at. Is that a surprise? Yeah, I think it is, because we can really achieve some significant savings and still achieve the same result of getting those roofs another 15 years. And they're in great shape. It's incredible. This building here is terrible.
There's some that are good and some that are bad.
Some that are good. This one's not so good, but we're working on it.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions? No? Any community members have any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have to admit, those monthly reports will be nice. I mean, we used to get information, but it wasn't as concise and consolidated in that fashion, so I think that will be helpful.
Yeah, it's one of the things, I think what we'll end up doing is we get in, when I talked to Ange and Scott earlier today, I told them that we may end up ultimately sitting down with the district's facility committee, so that we can also tailor the type of information the board would like to see, as well as what we're going to put up on our website. So I think they look forward to that. They've done it with many other districts as well, and it also gives everybody a sort of a general checkup time. So like right now, I would look at the next presentation on a monthly basis being about our June 19th meeting, about the same time frame. And it's really just consistent updates. And then we may not need one on the organizational meeting just because it's a quick turnaround, but we definitely will need one for August 13th because the submissions would be roughly a couple weeks later, and we may have to go into that first one in September 2nd so that they can submit the next day. So that's sort of the timeline in a nutshell for planning purposes now. I know they are working, I know Greg and his staff are working tremendously on trying to keep to a
And then-
very strict schedule.
And if there are savings, for example, not having to do the middle school roof, I mean, that would be a major savings that will have alternates for when
Well,
we
you
want to.
have the ability to address more concerns potentially, but first and foremost, one of the directions that I've given the both teams is our list of projects are a priority. Everything else, after we are assured that we've got our priorities already accomplished. But those are discussions that hopefully those surprises could be more on the positives instead of the negatives.
That would be good.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen. I'll get these back to you then.
Recognition of visitors on an agenda item. Okay. Finance, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following finance actions. Item A.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following instructional staff action items A through E. Is there a motion?
So moved.
A through F?
Yeah.
I don't have an updated.
It dropped.
Oh, typo. Okay. Thank you.
So moved.
I already moved, but
You
whatever.
moved, okay. So that's a first and a second then. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Sorry, should probably just leave it here. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following support staff action item A.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just want to mention, Nancy's worked here for a long time, and when we were at the Ed Center, she was always the person that everybody actually went to first before they went to any of the offices. And, well, just, it was the location. And I just, she's done a lot over the years, so I want to recognize her for
We're going to have
Yeah.
to move Michelle's seat maybe.
Did we vote on
No, not
that?
yet.
Okay.
That was discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. And correspondence for action is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following correspondence action item A.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries.
Yes, can I just make one comment? I would like to just submit my letter of resignation from the Board of Education.
Okay.
Thank you.
Boy, Laura, that's, 5 years of dedicated service, and I feel like we're losing one of our great board members.
Thanks.
But, so thank you for the past 5 years.
Thank
You
you.
know, it's not just 5 years, but you served also on board in Illinois, so
Right.
you've, really spent a lot of time in education. So
It's been fun. It's been good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We don't have to, do we have to take action on that? No. No.
We're going to evaluate next steps and report
The
back.
next steps, okay. All right. 'Cause maybe we just say no.
Tied to your seat.
No, but thank you for your years of service. Is there, what are we on, visitors for a non-agenda item? You sure? You don't want to keep the participation in government students here longer? Anyone? No?
I think we have to have another hour worth of meeting.
Limiting out.
Mr. Irons and all of the wonderful teachers upstairs would love it, right?
I think, going back one step, I think we should vote
Accept
and
it.
accept.
Accept her.
Yeah, I think it should be on the minutes.
What I would suggest is that first we seek the proper protocol, and then if an action item has to be taken, is it okay to do it at the next meeting?
Sure.
Just because of the fact that a resignation usually doesn't have any action, and under my assumption, an action that has to be required because it's at the discretion of the individual. So therefore,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah. So if we need to retroactively approve it, I don't think we have to. I think it goes by your word and your wishes.
Okay. And so future meetings, Wednesday, June 5th, 7 o'clock, regular board meeting here. Wednesday, June 19th, regular board meeting, and then Tuesday, July 2nd, organizational middle meeting.
And we do have an audit committee meeting on June 10th?
The 10th.
Yes.
Okay, and then August 13th. And I think
Graduation
that's it.
21st.
And graduation. Well, that's first.
Oh, my goodness.
So, I know, we didn't, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
They've decided.
You gotta come up
Come
and
on
sign
up
out.
and sign out.